Get ready for a great show.
Black space is a place for us.
Real people with real issues.
Discussing real topics.
Black space.
A safe space for our community.
Hello, I'm George Middleton. Let's do that again. Hello, I'm George Middleton, your host this evening on this podcast episode of Black Space Live. This evening, we're going to examine the question: has social media had a negative or positive effect on modern relationships? Men or women? Who benefits from it the most? Before we get into the meat of this topic, I'd like to take this time briefly to encourage you to like, subscribe, and share this podcast. In other words, say it with me: don't be selfish with this content. Share the love. You can catch Black Space Live on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and Spotify. And you can catch us on Anchor FM, Podcast Addict, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeart Radio. All right, we have a bomb panelists, a set of panelists this evening, and we may have a mystery panelist come on here if we are so lucky or so blessed. Just depends how the vibe of this discussion goes tonight. So I'd like to take time to let them introduce themselves to you and let you all know what they think you should know about them. Let's begin with the only Mel Cruz.
Hey, well, thank you. Thank you for having me. Yes, I'm the only Mel Cruz, and to tell people about myself, that's a kryptonite question for me. I'm here to have this conversation, and I'm really looking forward to it. I got a couple of opinions, and I'm also interested in finding out what the other individuals on your panel, what their thoughts are. So that's my introduction of me.
Well, welcome, the only Mel Cruz, and this is a special episode because this is your first airing, your first showing as a panelist guest, and I hope one of many to come. So welcome. Desi.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I am Desi. I'm a blogger over at jewandolive.com, where our mission is to be a lifeline for women, especially women of color that suffer from panic and anxiety, guys. So go follow me on all the socials at Jew and Olive. Excited to be here and talk about this topic tonight, and thanks for having me again.
Welcome, Desi. Always a pleasure. The great Penny.
Good evening, everybody. I'm no stranger to this platform. This is home for me. I'm from the great state, commercial pilot from the great state of Florida. And, y'all know I always got something to say. So I'm ready. Let's go.
You stay ready.
I stay ready.
You stay. We've been in some battles together, brother. I know how you roll.
And listen. Listen.
All right. So this particular topic is inspired by a personality, Sadia Khan. I believe that is the correct spelling of her name. Sadia is a relationship coach who focuses her social presence on helping individuals and couples navigate the complexities of their relationships. Now, Sadia is quite academically inclined and accomplished. She holds a BS in psychology, a master's in education and developmental psychology. She has qualified teacher's status, diplomas in psychotherapy, advanced cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and psychoanalysis and inner child healing. So, quite impressive on the stats. So we watched before the assignment for the panelists was to watch this particular video interview on one of her most recent airings, and it was titled "Mastering Sex, Power, Gender Roles, and the Secret to Maintaining Relationships That Last." Wow, that's a lot. Mastering all of those and having a lasting relationship. That's a lot. In listening to it, she said quite a few very thought-provoking comments, beginning with, and I want to start with this, and it may not be relevant, but I want to be clear on this particular term as to how it may or may not apply in this discussion. She uses the term woke. Let me go back and tell you what she says. What social media is doing is what this woke culture is doing, destroying femininity and replacing it with narcissism. So the first part of it, by associating social media with woke culture. So my first question is, what is woke and how is it related to this topic from your perspective? Let's start with Penny.
Well, to be clear, woke is stolen from Black folk. That were, when we were traveling back in the day when it was dangerous for us to be in certain parts of the country, certain neighborhoods, and being woke was pretty much, be aware of your surroundings, stay woke, be aware of your surroundings, know that you are in a sundown town, know that this restaurant don't serve our kind, know that, there's a lot of good old boys around here. So, keep your eyes open. But it's been co-opted by, some social justice warriors as kind of being woke to, a lot of different histories. There's many overlaps with respect to woke, but it's been co-opted, right? And staying woke is apparently, keeping your eyes open to what's really going on, apparently. And I hate that it's been stolen from us, but I mean, everything's been stolen from us, right? People have what's the term? They've appropriated a lot from us, but this is not different. So, being woke is pretty much that, being quote unquote, staying woke to what's really going on, apparently. But so yeah, that's what woke. And I kind of lost track of the question, George, because I got upset. I get upset talking about woke because I just
right. They stole it from us. We've been hoodwinked, bamboozled.
We have been definitely hoodwinked.
Run amok.
Come on, you already know.
So you, from your perspective, you don't see woke as really relevant to this topic.
No,
in terms of its initial.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Desi, what say you? What is woke and how is it related to this topic?
I definitely have to agree with Penny. My definition of woke, as I've known it just growing up being Black in America, is not really a new term, but it's just new to society as a whole and using it. But that's the definition that I've always known woke to be. This new definition of woke, I agree with the presenter. I can't remember her name, but it is an all-inclusive term, kind of being aware of all of the new nuances that are going on, whether it's LGBTQ or Black Lives Matter, or just this conglomerate of everything that kind of leads you down every direction. And so in that definition of being woke, no, I disagree with it, because as with social media, I feel like it's too much for a single individual to even try to consume and understand.
All right, all right. Mel Cruz, what say you on this concept of woke and how whether or not it is
Sure.
related to the subject
Yeah.
matter?
Right. I think it depends on who is using the term woke. Because I do agree with Penny that the term has been co-opted, and so depending on who's using it, if it's not Black American, then they have. I mean, they've just assigned a whole new definition to that term to suit their need or their need to define to support their position. And so, as far as woke being applied to relationships. Based on the video, no, I think that the lady is using it pretty much, incorrectly or applying it incorrectly. Um, is there a need to be woke in when you're pursuing relationships or even when you're in a relationship? Yes, but I think this lady has really taken the term and just kind of spun it around to suit her need, and I guess that's how I feel about it.
Hey, George, everybody on the panel agrees with me. Case the show's over. It's done. It's cut. We're done.
Well, we kind of agree with you, Penny. We sort of agree with you. We're not there yet, Penny.
All right, so we're going to get there. Okay. So my next question then would be, she gives a lot of significance to the female beauty. She places high value, priority, maybe not priority, but she notes the female mystique, the feminism and the beauty of the female figure as a very significant asset. So beginning with Desi, question is a woman's beauty a commodity?
That's a good question. Is a woman's beauty a commodity? Well, historically it has been, across cultures, a woman's beauty has been a commodity. Um, and I think it continues to be a commodity as long as that is how it is viewed by the opposite sex. Men pretty much place a value on a woman's beauty. The way that she interpreted the concept of women being able to spread themselves very thin or far with their beauty because of social media, though, I have to disagree with, because even though something is a commodity, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's has to be um, desired by everyone, right? You might be an art collector and someone might pay millions of dollars for a Van Gogh, and then a person may not. And so that overall overarching concept that social media is ruining relationships because women have the opportunity to make themselves, their beauty, seen by more people, I disagree with. I think that it's a dual aspect of it, which is, if something is a commodity in our society, does that mean that everyone has to be buying into it? And the fact that so many people of the opposite sex and the same sex are buying into that commodity, is that not the bigger issue rather than the commodity just being placed on a platform?
Penny, what are your thoughts on Desi's take on that?
I think it is. And women have figured out, how to cash in on that commodity. I mean, look at the NIL deals that the college athletes are doing right now, right? Even though, men's sports draw, way more money, way more crowds, the female athletes make way more money in NIL than the men do on average. I mean, certainly there's exceptions to that rule. You got, Bronny James, who's worth the most, but under the bell curve, most of the women fall on that extreme end. Most of the, men aren't making as much money, and why? Because you could be an athlete that is, I mean, just for illustration's sake, you can be a 6, right? A couple filters, got a decent looking body, put on a swimsuit, show a little bit of skin. You're a 10 online now, and guys are gonna want to look. Not just guys in the States, guys everywhere. Look at the average number of followers that women have on Instagram versus men on Instagram. I mean, it's not even close. Think about your most popular what do they call them now? Creators. The most followers are women. With respect to the apps, purely because of the looks. And so, yeah, beauty is absolutely a commodity. Absolutely. You want some quick attention as a woman, gets put on become scantily dressed, put a couple pics on Instagram, and watch how the followers jump. So I agree with her with that to that point.
So Mel Cruz, your beauty is a commodity. You're making some pretty good, some good paper off that. How's it working for you?
Yeah, oh yeah, my beauty, I'm telling you, hey. I really like what Desi said. I agree with what you said, Desi, and I understand what you said, Penny. Okay. But I have a problem with this. I just, I told Penny, I said I'm nice, but what I meant to say, Penny, is I'm nice with it. So anyway, as it relates to this hostess, okay. As it relates to the lady on the video, I kind of have a problem with this lady, and mostly because, like, her statement of, social media is destroying femininity and replacing it with narcissism and telling them that it's feminism. None of the women that we see on social media that are, using their body as a commodity and reaping the rewards, most of them do not appear to be doing it as though they are, hostages. They're leading the way in how they put their body out there, how they market themselves, using their body, the scantily dressed piece, as Penny referenced. I mean, I feel like the women that are on social media, utilizing their body as a commodity, they've got their business plan together. They know exactly where they want to go. They're reaching their goals. And so I don't think they view it as a negative piece. So I don't think that the lady is really in touch with those who are utilizing their body in that way.
So I want to push back on that. I don't think now there's exceptions to every rule, right? But I think the rank and file that are on here, I think it makes you delusional, right? Look at the avatar for the Instagram, using the Instagram as your meal ticket. Brittany, what's in it? Brittany Renner, right? She's a poster child for this. She is delusional by thinking that, I'm pretty because of all these blue check marks in my box. I can get whatever I want, whenever I want. And she's failing. She's not getting any relationship goals that she wants. She's making a fool of herself right now. And if you ever listen to any of her interviews, which if you can stomach, listen to those interviews, she sounds crazy. She sounds absolutely crazy. And take it off of her. The most recent example of this delusion, the young lady in the Cheesecake Factory saga, that delusion is drawn from the fact that if I'm a woman, respectfully, I can go on Instagram, put up a couple pictures, I can get a bunch of male attention, and that's not real life. It's not real life.
Well, it is real life for them because you do get a lot of male attention online. That's real life. And this is my biggest issue when it comes to men, especially when they start throwing around dog whistles and calling women delusional. I've known and come across many men, and a physical attractiveness is not high on the scale that men actually use to judge women by. Now, Brittany Renner, she's beautiful. She's a beautiful girl. So if she's using her beauty for whatever she's trying to accomplish, what is the delusional part of that? There is nothing delusional about that at all. You also mentioned a lot of female athletes, which this was curious to me because I just had a conversation with someone about this the other day. And the question I had was, I wonder why it is that female athletes, and particularly we were looking at this track star. I don't know her name. Her first name is
Sha'Carri
Fatima.
Richards.
No, her name is Fatima. And
Oh.
men have made a sex symbol out of her, and she definitely does not want the attention. It's clear all over her face that it's unwanted. But the only pictures that they show of her is of her backside. And then you have the Olympians that have to, the female Olympians that are forced to perform in leotards nearly showing their privates. And then you have these pictures of these men. They just capture the inappropriate scenes of these women. And then when there are a certain group of women that have always existed in life that say, well, if that's what they want, that's what I'll give them. And then somehow these women then become delusional. How does that work?
So to be clear, I didn't dog whistle when I said delusional. She's delusional, and when I say delusional, I mean delusional. She thinks that she did an interview with Shannon Sharp, and Shannon asked the type of man that she wants.
Who is delusional?
Huh?
I said Shannon Sharp is delusional, but
oh well. So Shannon Sharp asked her. She wants the type of guy that she wants to be with is this multi-million-dollar athlete, right? She thinks that because as she sleeps with these men, that she's going to be able to marry this type of man. And Shannon is telling her not by airing all of your dirty laundry, thinking it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? The comment she openly volunteered her body. I've been with 35 or 36 different guys. And like being that open with that type of stuff, Shannon's like, dude, these type of men are not going to want to deal with you putting it out there like that. You see what I'm saying? Moving the way that you're moving. And I want to take it off the body.
Is this Brittany or Fatima?
This is Brittany. Fatima is Fatima.
Fatima is the track.
She's a track star. Yeah, Fatima Diamo, I think his name is. But Brittany putting herself out like that, and the reason I say delusional is because she gets so much male attention for sex. She thinks that translates into a real meaningful relationship. And it's not just her, because women are able to get this type of attention, this sexual attention. Because if women show, their backside online, yeah, guys are gonna comment and get in your inbox because they're not thinking in the northern region, right? And they think because I can draw that attention, if I want a serious relationship, I can get a serious, meaningful relationship with a guy that I'm attracted to. I can get that. That's where the delusion comes in, because you're getting all this attention. Let's take it off of women for a second. It's almost like if I were a guy that had a bunch of money and I led with my money, I just spent. I'm going to draw a lot of women, but am I going to draw the type? And I had no personality, nothing like that. I would be delusional because I would think that because I can draw these women, with my money, I think that I can draw them, without my money. That's what I'm trying to say.
Nothing delusional about that, because not to make this conversation about Brittany Renner, but doesn't she already have a child by a multimillionaire that's an athlete? So it's not far-fetched for her
to she trapped the guy.
And that's what she wants. Her goal is to do that again. So that's not a far-fetched goal for her.
Her goal is to be married to a guy. And to be
it's
clear,
not a far-fetched goal for a man to marry. You're putting men and their values on this pedestal.
I'm talking about the type of guy that she wants. I'm talking about the type of guy that she wants.
Where these men exist. But to be clear, these men that are not so enamored by beauty, that are not so vain that they will not marry a woman like that, and disregard the women with the great personalities and the great majority of men, if we're speaking on social media, they are just vain enough to want what a lot of the women call their preference, which Brittany Renner is, a beautiful woman, a mixed woman, to marry her and put them on their arm. That's
Brittany
not
Winter will
believable.
never. Brittany Winter, I'll say it, and I'll stand 10 toes down on it because of what she's done. Number one, she'll never trap another guy. Deion Sanders literally had her come to his whole in front of his football team and say, basically, ignore women ignore a trap like this. So she'll never trap another guy like she did the guy who was younger than her. Number one. Number two, she'll never marry an athlete. She'll never marry an athlete, and she'll never have another kid by an athlete because
I don't think you can. I don't think you can really use her as an example on this for this broad question. I think the Cheesecake Factory girl is a better example because it's more relatable and more in line with just society as a whole.
Right.
And I think I do agree with you about the Cheesecake Factory girl that she doesn't even know how to play the game. So that was her problem. She probably could have made that work for her, but she didn't do it right. But you have other regular average girls who have actually made a living and carved out a space for themselves on social media doing exactly what the Cheesecake Factory girl was trying to do. So I think the bigger question is, if we want to look at it from a societal issue standpoint, is are these ladies doing this because they want to? And what is their sense of worth as it relates to themselves? Because if they feel healthy and feel good, hey, look, this is, I'm about that life. This is what I'm about. I'm going to do it. And they're happy with it. I don't think the host on the source video that we watched can, I think her position or her opinion just doesn't apply.
Okay, so then that gets to the heart of her platform, where she's saying, even though she calls it woke, we all agree that it's really not accurately applicable here, but we'll use it just because she did. That it is replacing, it is destroying these things that you all just talked about, these two examples, that this social media presence is destroying femininity and replacing it with narcissism, and telling them that it's feminism. So my question to you all is, those two examples that you just discussed, is that considered narcissistic?
I think so.
I don't think so.
I definitely think that the Cheesecake Lady was being narcissistic, just the way that she handled the entire situation. It was demeaning. If it's the same video, the same short that I watched, she sat in the car. She allowed this man to drive her to the Cheesecake Factory. She recorded him. She insulted him.
It was lame.
So, in my opinion, yes, that was narcissistic.
And
it was an attempt at narcissism because. Oh, go ahead, Penny. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead, man.
I was going to say it was an attempt at narcissism. The girl did not. This Cheesecake Factory girl did not play the game well. She did not run the play correctly. And then come to find out, she went on another platform. And was like, "Oh, I think she apologized to the guy. I'm sorry, and I should have this, and I should have that." And she wasn't really even committed to what she attempted to do on video. She did not know how to play the game. Now, one of the girls, what's her name, TJ or whatever, from the City Girls, that's dating Puffy or Diddy or Love or whatever. Now the City Girls, they know how to run that game. You know what I mean? Ari, Moneybag Yo's off and on girlfriend. She knows how to run that game. This Cheesecake Factory girl was trying to. And so that's why I don't think it was narcissism. It was an attempt. And I don't think the girl really actually knows who she is. She's trying to be something, but she just doesn't know who yet. That's what I think. That's what I came up with.
And that's my point, the overarching point, right? Beautiful women, have no problem attracting guys. They, in real life, online or offline, they don't have that problem, right? But it is extended to, and I don't like to say this, but we're not all equal, right? We're not all equal. I'm not going to say Beyonce looks as good as, or Gabrielle Sidibe looks as good as Beyonce, because they just don't, right? And so, to illustrate my point, a regular in life Gabby is not going to draw offline the same attention that a Beyonce does. However, if Gabby gets half naked online, she will draw a lot of attention, and offline she'll think that she is entitled to the same type of men and attention that Beyonce could draw offline. That's where the delusion comes in. The narcissism comes in because you draw so much attention. And again, I hate throwing around that word because it almost seems like the new buzzword. I feel like everybody is that. You remember how y'all were when you were younger? Like first, second grade, you learned a new word and what it meant, so you kept saying it. You're a narcissist. You're a narcissist. And so that's how I feel like it. But but the fact that she showed like she didn't care about nobody else but herself, and that the Cheesecake Girl, I've experienced that. I've experienced that on dates, but when I was dating, and it's like, word, I'm taking you out to eat, and you're too good for this, word, and I'm paying for it, word, and they don't care. So it's like,
but see, but bear in mind that the gentleman knew that she was recording the video, because in the very beginning he was like, wait, are you recording this? So how do we know that had he not known that she was recording it, or had she not been recording it at all, that he would have buckled down and been like, well, where you want to go, Miss Cheesecake Factory? What's good for you? What's good for you? The ultimately, just from my view, her role didn't work. But I guess my question to you, Penny, is there's so many men out here that are making this a viable institution for women.
I don't disagree.
So, so
we call them simps.
If y'all are there, you guys are in the audience for Lizzo, for Sigourney, or however you pronounce her name. I mean, y'all are in the audience, and you hit the like button, you slide in the DMs, you're making these crazy fetish statements. You're doing that, and that's what's empowering these women. That's why these women are like, hey, let me go ahead and try to run this at the Cheesecake Factory, because
I agree.
It worked for what's the girl, the red girl, the new girl who her name is Red something.
I don't follow rap like that. I know you're talking about, but I don't follow hip hop like that. But I agree.
Yeah,
we call those guys simps, right? The simps are certainly gonna simp. You see what I'm saying? They're gonna simp, right? You are very much correct. They enable this foolish behavior. So when the simps, because the girls, they don't want to be with the simps, right? They want to be with successful, educated, confident guys. But they're not going to get those guys in the end. That's what they really want to be with. They don't want to be with the simps. They don't want to be with the simps.
I mean, they may
I'm talking about confident. I'm talking about confident, educated simps. Because if you're confident and educated, you're not simping.
They don't have a problem with being with simps. Now you take Tamar Braxton before her whole breakdowns. Her husband might be considered a simp, being that his appearance was what it was, and she clearly was a trophy.
Exactly, Desi.
And she clearly was put on a pedestal by him, and he was ultra rich. So these are the men that women are after, and no, they're not all Pookies and Ray Rays that are in the point.
But my point is that, again, she's attractive. I'm talking about the delusion of women that are not attractive. That attractive. Let me say not that attractive. That think who?
Tamar. I don't think that she's out of this world attractive.
I don't remember what Tamar Braxton looks like. But in any event, my point is that again, there's going to be exceptions to every rule, right? But the rule is these average women think that because the simps give them all that attention, right? That's why this whole argument that's why the clip with Kevin Samuels, the average at best, went viral. Because how dare he tell?
But that's you guys'
that
rule.
Is the
that's
rule.
Not the rule that's happening.
And these women,
that is the rule that's happening.
That rule is
right. No, it isn't, Desi, because
nobody would be doing
what
women do online if they weren't getting any benefit. Believe me, these women are not doing this online.
And I think,
but they're not marrying and riding off to the sunset with these guys by and large. They're just not.
But Penny, I mean, I don't know where you're getting where you're coming to the conclusion that these women are looking for a husband. How do we can't say that this is not what they're doing, and what they're getting is the relationship they want. I mean, it takes a special kind of woman or person to go on the internet, partially clad, scantily clad, and do what a lot of these women do, especially on OnlyFans, IG, Twitter. I mean, I've seen some stuff on Twitter. I'm like, damn, how'd that happen? But my point is that when you look at the extent to which people will do or what they'll do, you can't all of a sudden just bring it all the way back and say they're looking for a husband, a white picket fence, and 2.5 kids. That's not. They're not searching for that piece that you're
I disagree
to.
with that.
I don't think.
I disagree with that. Here's why I disagree with that. Because I hear this conversation about, oh, now everybody wants marriage. Oh, they don't want marriage. But I think deep down inside, the majority of women and men want marriage. Almost every, and it's kind of funny watching this timeline on social media and YouTube and all these podcasts and these videos. Almost every major female podcaster that has a platform of her own that used to clash with Kevin, right? They all clash with him. All of them are repeating his talking points now, and they're all saying they ultimately want marriage. Look at the 180 that Ebony K. Williams did, right? Look at what she did. You hear she caught fire for recently saying we need to be giving women all the tools, and your best time to find your best option is when you're young and in college, because she's not 40, freezing her eggs, talking about how terrible that whole experience is. And if she could do it all over again, she would never do this alone. She would have done things differently. They all come to that conclusion because I believe most people would want to be married.
That doesn't relate to the internet. That
Exactly.
relates to something that we were taught in our generation, which was to hold off on marriage and kids. Something that I did. It worked pretty good for me. For other women, it didn't work well for. But what I do want to make the point, I did want to make the point of when I was younger, before the internet was even available, my mom used to always tell us.
I don't know about you, but the internet's all been around my life.
Oh, Lord. I'm telling my age a little bit, but my mom used to always tell us, when you were going out to certain places, we used to go to nightclubs when we were younger. You don't meet a guy there. Or some other people's parents, you say you meet a guy in church. You don't meet a guy at the a nightclub. A lot of my white friends used to go to the bar, and I never went, but their parents said you don't meet a guy at the bar. And that's kind of what the internet is. You've got, I guess, good guys like I won't say you, Penny, but like guys like yourself that are single.
Me. You can say
but they're on the internet, which is likened to a booty club looking for a wife. It just does not, it's not there. That's not where they are. Right. So to the point of the speaker in the video, no, the internet isn't ruining relationships. The internet just promotes a certain type of relationship. It's a visual relationship. There's only one thing you can do.
It facilitates
attention from the opposite sex or the same sex on the internet is show your body. You show your goods. That's all you can do.
But you're kind of proving her point, though, Desi. The internet creates. The internet is people become two-dimensional on the internet. They're two-dimensional. They're profile picking a few words. You don't know someone's character on the internet. You have no idea. This is why
you can tell their character by what they're putting on the internet.
You can only tell what they put online. That's why you can be anything you want to be online. Anything you want to be online. You only your profile.
I feel like you're showing who you are online. If I decided to get really scantily clad and put that on the internet, a person can't then come to me and say, well, that's not who she really is. Put that out there for the world to see. That's ridiculous.
Remember the Tinder swindler. You see that? Did y'all see that on Netflix?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my God. He had these women convinced he was this wealthy mover and shaker.
That's good.
He convinced women to give him $250,000, $300,000 loans. Why? Because he created this online facade.
That he was clearly a scammer, and
they didn't know that
it was
too late.
But
they didn't know that until it was too late.
But these women, Penny, look at the character of the women. These were the type of women who you met a man on the internet. The man at some point in this interaction said, "Hey, I need $250. I need $500,000, and you wrote him a check. So who does that? I don't see a secure woman. I mean, who does? But that's what I'm saying. That's the difference. That is what the women were looking for. They were looking for a man who, no matter what, as long as he showed them some attention and filled that particular
it was more than
need,
attention,
if
though,
he
Mel.
needed $1 million. What I'm saying is that this guy filled this particular group of women's needs to the point where what the women had in common was not how they looked and not their profession. It was the fact that all of them had money and all of them had a proclivity to give a man money that they barely knew.
No, they had money out of credit, but he
His
drew them in with
access.
the things that women are quote unquote drawn to, right? Halfway decent looking guy, right? But that's not necessarily, women are attracted to and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I've seen. If you have three things you need to be a guy to score well in women: looks, quote unquote, we call it swag or game or a mouthpiece, money, and a combination of money and power. Those three, you got those things, you score high in those things, women are going to be on your heels. And what did he do? He created a profile that made it seem as if he was this wealthy playboy that was his mover and shaker, and they bought it hook, line, and sinker. Here's the crazy part: even after he got caught, he's still doing it.
Well, let's not.
He's still doing it.
So let me ask you this question: he is still doing it, but let me ask you this question, Penny, because Desi said she didn't see the movie. Does Desi strike you as a person who that swindler could have ran game on? And do I strike you as a woman that swindler guy could have ran a game on?
No, because y'all black. Y'all black American women, y'all wouldn't.
There you go.
From your own deduction, you said that a man needs to be fairly good looking, have money and power, and one other thing. In order to capture. Okay, so a little bit of style and swag. So we see the profile. It's online. That's the profile. Wow. We eventually, I'm assuming, like I said, I didn't see the documentary, but I'm assuming we eventually met this guy in person.
She met him in person.
So they did
got on a private plane.
In person.
Met him.
Got on
the
private
plane
different countries. With his baby mama.
Okay.
Liquidated.
So they do all this. But then he is there then asked to foot the bill, which kind of
not up front.
No.
They're
not asked to foot the
at any point in the relationship, they're asked to foot a hefty bill. That could be a red flag. 30 second Reader's Digest version, Desi. Basically, so I met Mel, right, using with this scam, right? So I'm scamming her. I've now gotten to the point where I got Mel giving me $200,000-$300,000, where I'm maxing out her credit cards. I've already to that point. While I'm doing that with Mel, lying to her about my whereabouts, I'm dating you with her money, doing these extravagant things. He kind of keeps this Ponzi scheme going.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
that's pretty much his game.
In real life, this is not something that just
it happened in real life
on the internet. I mean, but I'm saying
it happened. Here's the thing, though.
A playboy out at the anywhere, he can run that same game. That's the point. So I don't see how the
point is that. The point is that this scammer was able to run the game on the women who were susceptible to the game. You understand what I mean? Because it would have took one time paying for you to be like, hey, Mel, I need 200. Boom, I'm hanging up the phone. I'm disconnecting the internet. End the conversation. I'm not giving you $250,000. You need to give me $250,000. So let's start there. But these women had no problem. One of the last women in that scam was like, kept calling them. I've got to pay the loan. I've got to pay the loan. And she didn't care. She just wanted him. So I think it's the type of women who are open to be utilized or whatever term we want to come up with. They're open to engage in that. And so if that's what they like, then that's a category they fall into. So but that doesn't apply to every woman. And I think
here's what I've noticed in listening to this debate. In this ironic way, Desi and Cruz, you are really affirming Penny's earlier assessment, as well as Sadia Khan's assessment, that the social media piece is having a deleterious, a delusional effect on modern relationships. Because I haven't heard anything affirming towards relationships. Maybe affirming towards self for the person, and then as it pertains to being swindled, this, the Tinder swindler is this, extreme version. But if this behavior is acceptable for women online on social media, isn't that in itself a social swindle?
Well, I'm personally coming from a place of non-judgment. People take their particular brand of personality where they take it. It just happens to be that selling your body and your wealth is wide open on the internet, and
Right.
it's open for desperate people to indulge in and to try to get a piece of. So people lie about it. But my point about the reason I don't agree with the speaker about it being an internet problem is because I feel like it's just a magnified world problem that has already been there. It's just being placed on the internet right now. Now, where I do agree with her is the fact that you do have impressionable children seeing this, and they may not have gone in that direction, but because they see so many people that maybe they're looking up to doing these things, then you are creating possibly a new generation of people that wouldn't have been on OnlyFans, and they are, or that wouldn't be scammers, and they're deciding to do that because of the number of illegitimate people that are on the internet.
And if that's having an impact on on children, I'm not, I'm also like you, not into judging, because this is to me a morality based question. Everybody's free to their morality, but we're trying to assess quantitatively, objectively, the assertion of Khan saying that the social media presence of today's women is destroying feminism, replacing it with narcissism. And she says it's today's modern dating is just training for divorce. That's a pretty strong assertion, and statistics would maybe tend to support her qualitatively on that.
Because you have
Again,
Go ahead, Penny.
because you have, for certain people, again, she bring the point that when she illustrated the point about, if you're the pretty girl, usually you married the guy in town, right? You got and I'll kind of run with that illustration and extrapolate from that. You met a decent guy in town, you got to know him, you married him, you moved on, right? But now, because again, if you're in a relationship and you can put in your, and this is another problem, and that this is something that Kevin said I totally agree with. If you're married and you're scantily dressed on Instagram, that's a form of cheating, because you're getting male attention that you should not be. You're soliciting male attention that shouldn't be getting. That also gives you this idea of, well, even the smallest issue going on in my relationship, why should I have to work it out? There are 50 guys in my inbox right now, of which 27 of them out-earn my husband, 24 of them are taller than my husband, and the grass is always greener on the other side anyway. So why should I work on this? Why? What incentive do I have to stay here when there are plenty of options, again, not real options because it's two-dimensional, online that I can try in anywhere in the world? It's opened you up to a whole new world of, quote unquote foolishness. And so, yeah, it is setting you up for divorce.
Yeah, so
my wife can't be on.
I completely just. Go ahead, Jesse.
Go ahead, Desi.
well, I was just going to add really quickly, more so than the actual people and the profiles on the internet that are setting you up for divorce, I think more is the commentary of these that surround these conversations, like the one that we're having this evening about relationships. I was on the internet the other day and someone was talking about, I feel like it was Jeezy and Jeannie Mai and their divorce. And one of the young girls said in a comment that it doesn't even make sense to even marry someone and try to live with them forever. Whoever came up with that. People change, and what makes a person think they're going to be able to live with someone and be with them for the rest of their life. I did respond to her and I said, well, what about your mother? If your mom gets sick, you're just gonna throw her out of the door too. If your dad change up on you, everybody's just out the door. Your kids grow up, they change. You have nothing to do with them. So I feel like social media and this kind of concept, this disconnected connection where people can speak to each other and talk to each other, but they don't really have a real relationship or know each other, is creating this dynamic where people are disposable. People are feeling like other people are disposable. I've been married for a very long time. Yes, my husband has changed. But so what? Change is a part of life. That's what we do as people. We should be able to work together, work through changes, change together, grow together. That's how community works. That's how family works. But for some reason, this concept is growing that if things change, if a person changes, if a person does anything, well, they're just disposable and you can just find somebody else on the internet to fill their space.
So again, is that
You know,
is that being perpetuated with today's use of social media? Is that good?
no, I think that I don't think it's being perpetuated. I think what we're seeing on social media are the people and who they are. We're seeing people who come from households, and again, I'm not judging anyone. God knows I'm not judging anyone. But we're seeing people come from different walks of life, different households. They didn't have a mother and a father in the home. They didn't have any parents in the home. They saw this type of dysfunction and that type of dysfunction, and these are the people who make up our society right now. Some people are lucky to have had a good, wholesome relationship with, in a two-parent home or even in a one-parent home. So that's, if we're going to discuss where the where the problem begins. To me, it begins with the individual, and then is it really a problem? It is, with Will and Jada, for example, and I'll use them because they're a high-profile couple. I know. Listen, that's why I'm keeping it. I know. But my point with them is, with all the and the moans and the groans, they're committed to staying together no matter what, hell or high water. And so when you look at that, and you're right, that is grown, worthy relationship there. But they are committed to sticking together. And so when we say, well, this person's disposable and they're kicking them to the curb, Will and Jada aren't doing that, and they're giving that example. And
What's
when we
the
talk
latest?
about Kevin,
What's the latest thing that just came out? Was that real? This latest message that Jada came out, was that real, or is that somebody just? Huh?
Who knows?
Which message?
That's the whole problem in and of itself. It's possible.
Which one you talking about?
She said, well, I mean, the last one I saw, she's. Thank you. And she said that Tupac asked her to marry him when he was in jail, but there's something else about she said, the memes. You can't trust the memes of, Tupac is actually Jaden's daddy. I mean, just the point of the matter is, it's so far fetched, and Will ain't going nowhere. Okay, so
does that make Will a simp? Does that make Will a simp?
That makes a man committed
with a capital S.
That makes him a
no,
man.
don't do that.
That
a man committed to his marriage.
No.
Do it again, Penny.
That does make him a man, because as I said in a previous show, a man that is committed to his family is a man that's committed to the
All day.
growth of what he created. Now, according
Check this out.
to Jada's, her rants, we don't even know if they're together. We don't
Right.
even know if they even live together. She's now saying they haven't even been together since 2016. But what we do know is that you'll never hear Will down talking his wife or the mother of his children or whatever he is. You will never see him not being an excellent, stellar father. And you really don't even see him entertaining what she's doing, because she could be having a mental breakdown herself right now, and he could just be supporting her through that and being silent about it.
Right.
So we don't even know what's going on. And so what we're witnessing is a man, but because Black men haven't seen many men in their lives, meaning that men that care more about what they're creating, their legacy, than their own ego, then we label them with these terms. Oh, he's a simp because he's not out there bashing his wife because she's on a rampage or on a rant saying whatever she's
doing something that's off the cuff.
And if the roles were,
and I want to say this about Kevin's.
If the roles were reversed and Will was doing what Jada was doing and Jada was doing what Will is doing, how would that be received?
George, we would have to protect. We would have to have.
It depends. It depends.
It depends. I want to say this.
It depends on the people in the relationship. But Penny, I want to say this to you. I just want to put this out here. Anybody that's stepping up right now trying to, Kevin Samuels said this and Kevin Samuels says, they are just, to me, from my view, they are simply trying to fill Kevin Samuels' space. I don't think half the people believe what they're saying, those that have flipped the script and now all of a sudden they're reciting Kevin Samuels' mantra. I don't think half of them believe that. It's just there's a void there for some Kevin Samuels-esque content, and whoever can get in there first and secure that bag, that's what the objective is for some people.
Well, I'm going to comment in just a second, but I want to comment on this Will and Jada situation. This idea that he's being a man, no, he's not being a man. Because if my wife were having a mental breakdown like that to where she was out here disrespecting me, right, publicly disrespecting me, and she had a problem, I would need to strap her down or get her some help, because you are freaking disrespecting your husband and you're emasculating him. She's emasculating him publicly. Not just that.
Exactly, Desi.
Here's a straw gone too far, right? Because I know that Hollywood is Hollywood weird. I'm not a novice to understand that. But here's a bridge too far for a man taking care of his business, right? His own kids are not showing respect for him. His own daughter, I wrote a letter. I wish mommy, Tupac were alive so mommy could be happy. Are you freaking serious?
Right.
If my daughter were to say that,
exactly,
and my wife would not check that in, we have a problem. His whole house, from what we see, is in disarray. There's no man that will stand for that.
But why would Willow even write a letter like that though? Because all of this time Jada has been okay, and Will has been there letting it happen.
And
so you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways,
point is this.
Penny. Either the man is going to be either they're going to have a relationship and that goes the whole mile, goes the whole train. It's either that or it's a disposable situation.
This ain't about
and dispose of each other.
This ain't got nothing to do with ego. This is about people. If this were a regular couple, his peers.
It is a regular couple, Penny. Well, let me say this.
Let me say my piece.
It's regular couples getting it in like that right now.
I want to speak because you're speaking on women. You're speaking on women.
Penny, hold on. Let us say this real quick.
You're speaking on women's issues, and you don't have any idea what it's like to be a woman going through
which women issues that speak on?
You just said that as a woman, Jada should be, Will shouldn't be allowing Jada to say these things. Why would Willow write this letter? Firstly, Willow is a child. So if her mother, she's the child of them. She's their child. Okay. And she's very young. She's a young girl at that. And I don't know when this letter was written. But if Jada, and coming from a person that has had multiple mental breakdowns myself, several bouts with severe postpartum, and had a husband that definitely didn't out me when I thought I myself was going crazy, Yes, he's being a man. And
That's a
if
man.
Jada had been running around the house acting as if she missed Tupac, and her lost child happened to write a letter not knowing what was even going on, it's nothing bizarre about that. It's called a family, and it's called supporting
So
one another through difficult times.
so
And
so
I'm really
I know
disappointed.
that's right.
so I got a question then. I have a question then, right? Because everyone is cheering on Jada and will
I'm
protect
not
his wife.
cheering on Jada.
I'm not talking. I'm
No,
speaking
I'm
to
not
the
cheering him
community
on.
at large. I'm speaking to the community at large.
Mhm.
Everyone's steering on and saying this man is supposed to be strong and deal with all this nonsense. Even though, from what I'm seeing, his wife is emasculating him in public, but she could be having a breakdown. Because we're gonna make him an excuse for her behavior, right? She could be having a breakdown. His kids clearly are not showing respect for him. They're showing disloyalty to their own father, who has done everything for him.
For the things that people
Let
go
me
through
finish
in
my
their
point.
life,
Let me finish my
because we're
point.
not making things
I want
up.
to finish my point.
Several
I want to
celebrities
finish
are
my point,
down.
though. I want to finish my
Go
point.
ahead.
Let him make his point. Let him make his point, Desi, because so we can take him out. Go ahead.
So we're talking about him holding it down, right? Right? Where the hell is Will's backup? I hear it time and time again that black men don't protect black women and blah 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 and this. Where the hell is his protection? He is falling on the sword for everybody, right? He threw away his good guy image in front of the whole world on the biggest night of his career for this woman. She threw him under the bus the very next day in the freaking View, right? I can't believe what he did. I don't know why he did that. Every opportunity to stand up for her husband, she has not done so. So yeah, she could be having a mental breakdown. That's fair. That's fine. We can all say he's protecting her. That's fair. That's freaking fine. But at what freaking cost? Because in the regular world,
at all costs, that's what men do.
in the
They'll
regular world,
they'll go out
in
and
the regular world,
life.
I have seen men that deal with this stuff that aren't not sitting on the platform of a Will Smith, walk out in front of a bus because they can't take it anymore. All in the name of men just have to take it all. I don't like that narrative.
Nobody said men
Let me jump in.
So Penny, here's the thing.
Hold on, real quick. Hold on. Take a breath, real quick. Hold on. We got some good comments going over here. I want to respect those that are watching the show. Provision said, "This is a smoking hot panel and topic." Wow. Thank you, Provision House. Keep it coming. And our buddy Shade Tree Intellectual's back. And Penny, you got a fan over here, bruh. He's saying, "Hey, I'm with Penny on this squarely. I see the support going from Will to Jada. I've never seen it the other way." So I just wanted to jump that in there. And Cruz and Desi, please resume.
Yeah, let me jump in real quick because, okay, Will is not asking for support. Let's really start there. Will has had so many opportunities. Now, Penny and Shade Tree, you're talking about you're with Penny on this squarely. Okay, squarely, Will is not asking anyone to catch his back. Will is doubling down. Will went on when that August Alsina situation presented itself. Will showed up and said, "Hey, that's my baby. I'm never going to leave her. She's mine forever, blah, blah, blah." If Will needed support and Will had a mind to ask for support, that would have been the time. Will doubled down. Will doubled down after he slapped Chris Rock. Will doubled down. I just saw a recent video where they were somewhere and he was talking about Jada is my best friend and she this and she that and we're together and we've made a decision to every day love each other and like each other and blase scoop. And that those are the types of examples we don't see a lot of. So in Shade Tree, your comment, men don't ask for support, but others expect it from us. There's a massive difference. The point is that we can't put standards on Jada and then say that Will is not being given the same thing when Will is not asking for it. He's not asking for it. He's doubling down. What do you want us to do?
But to be fair,
I would like for him to just keep it all off of social media.
But to be fair, and to
enormous support. Will's career was not at all destroyed by that Oscar slap.
Yeah, it was hurt.
Many
It was
people
hurt.
supported him, and he
Exactly.
still has new movies coming out right now that people support. I support. I watch his new movies, and he has movies coming out. So this kind of concept that Will slapped for Jada and destroyed his career is a fallacy. His career is not destroyed. He is not blackballed. I think he might have gotten kicked out the Oscars for a little while because of that, but that was it. Nobody lost a massive amount of respect for Will Smith. So let's first dead that idea, because that's not true. Secondly, let's dead the idea that Jada is getting this huge amount of support, because if you guys feed us anything like mine, people are crashing down on Jada like nobody's business for even opening her mouth. So I'm not sure where you guys are getting this. Oh, Jada's getting all the support. Ever since Will did the slap for her, which was his prerogative, people have been turning and coming down on Jada. And everything she opens her mouth and says, people have a problem with it, to the point they're even saying she's lying about this long-time relationship with Tupac that we always thought it was true that she had. And now people are saying, well, she's lying about that. So for you guys to come on here and say that, oh, well, everybody's turning on Will and supporting Jada, where is that happening? What America?
And Penny, Will knew. Penny. Will knew when he slapped Chris Rock that he and Jada weren't together. So if Will stepped up to do that for whatever reason, you got to take that up with Will. Why he went up and said, "Keep my wife's name out your mouth." Those were his words. And he knew he and Jada hadn't been together for years. So why Will did that, you guys got to holler at Will about that and quit trying to act like Will is begging for attention and pampering.
That's not what he's asking for. Will, why that actually happened, because it could be true that it had nothing to do with Jada at all.
So
go ahead, Penny. Go ahead, Penny.
To be clear, a couple of points. Number one, I'm not throwing out the sympathy bone for Will. We got into a conversation about the fact that men are expected to do we're expected to fall on the sword, to take the grenade, to take all the hits and the punches with no backup whatsoever. That's what we're expected to do. And there's no pushback for her to step up and to protect her husband publicly from everybody that is commenting and in these interwebs, right? But this is why I led with the whole simp conversation, because it's a term that I don't throw out often. Simping is a guy that to his own detriment. It's different from me getting out here and killing myself, working 60 hours a week to provide for the Finleys in this household. And it's different. That is expected normally, but I have a wife that's supposed to back me up and support me. If I'm gonna work the long hours, you keep the house clean. We're a team. We are a freaking team. If Will were out here, in this Hollywood relationship, and his wife was at least on the same page as him, I wouldn't have anything to say. But they're clearly not on the same page. That's my issue. That's when it becomes simp territory.
You're measuring
when they're not on the same page.
So real quick.
The way they handle their family in relationship is personal. Even we're talking about a big blog of speculation right here. It could be said that maybe Jada couldn't know that Will didn't slap Chris Rock for her.
And maybe she could have planned the whole thing.
She's very upset that he allowed her to take all of that flag. So this is a big ball of speculation. But the thing that I think Mel was saying she respected about him, if you have that value system, was that come what may, he's sticking by his family.
So to that, let me give this some additional perspective, or deepen the perspective as it relates to the topic of this discussion. First of all, I want to make a note here for the producer to make an outtake of Penny's use of his shirt in demonstrating simp. That was classic. So make sure you make a reel on that, producer. Make a reel of Penny coming up doing the close-up on the camera with a super F for simp. That was just priceless. But let me do a quick review. Remember, Sadia Khan, here's her background. She holds a BS in psychology, a master's in education and developmental psychology, diplomas in psychotherapy, advanced cognitive behavioral therapy, psychoanalysis, and inner child healing. Her assertion in the interview states that social media has turned women into narcissists. It's replaced feminism with narcissism. Now, understand this is a certified therapist. Narcissism is a legitimate mental health disorder to which you all have proffered that is most likely what is driving Jada's behavior. So with that being said, is it possible that Jada's behavior is the criteria of narcissism
Well, it's understandable
as
that
a verifiable, diagnosable disorder?
exactly, because that was the point that I was going to make. Even
Sure.
with her psychology degree, we have to understand that everybody has narcissistic traits and tendencies. So where is that line? I think as Mel and Penny were saying that this is kind of a catchphrase. Where is the line? I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. Where we say a person is too narcissistic. If we all have narcissistic traits, when does it become too narcissistic? And then that's when that question can be answered about Jada, I'm assuming.
Well, I
agree
would
with
say
her.
as a man, at the moment that I'm becoming emasculated, to go along with
But
Penny's assessment, at the point where because I really respect. First of all, Desi, I respect you. I mean, you just raised. I already had a high level of respect for you, but you just raised it by taking the stigma off of mental health with your personal story. That was big. And it happened right here. And so I hope people refer to that and use that as inspiration, because I'm a therapist. This is what I do for a living. So that was huge. However, I would say that as you told that, I saw a difference between your situation and your husband's situation compared to the situation that everyone else is talking about regarding Will and Jada. You did not have the social media component come in and intervene during your time of mental health challenge. And so your husband did not have to, hopefully, not that it was peaches and cream, but neither it wasn't fun for you either. But what Penny's saying is, I'm being publicly, as Will, emasculated and embarrassed, made to look like a simp. Isn't there some legitimacy to that?
There is.
I'd like to jump in quickly and say this, that even in a relationship that's not on social media, because it's easy for us to use Will and Jada because they're on social media. But you can be in a relationship that is not a celebrity style relationship, and you can go to a family get together, a family barbecue, and emasculate the husband all day long. It's the same, it would have the same impact that this, perceived emasculation that Jada's doing to Will. The point is that, and this traces all the way back to what Penny was saying about, the social media relationships. People are viewing it as, hey, you're disposable and you're disposable. But we have a clear relationship here that is a good example of someone who is being, as you guys are referring to it, being emasculated. That's how you guys view it. And then, according to the guy himself, Will, he's sticking by his wife. He's not feeling emasculated. His wife is going through something. He's supporting his wife, and he's made a commitment publicly that that's where he's going to be. So I think that that's the biggest thing out of the Will and Jada situation. I don't feel like calling Will and what he's doing a simp is good for the rest of the people coming behind that are looking at how to formulate relationships moving forward. If one thing we're saying, oh, you can't make people disposable, but then now we're emasculating Will by saying you're stupid to be standing there and supporting your wife.
I want to ask a question, because I think that it's demonstrated over and over and over again that men have a higher expectation of taking the trash, right? Let's take this off of Will and Jada, right? Imagine if Tina stood by Ike through the abuse. Imagine if Ike was beating the brakes off of Tina in public. She was going in public, bloodied up and doing all those things. And through all of that, Tina said, "I'm going to stand by my husband." We would have we'd be singing a different tune.
Well,
Because I know
that
let me finish point. I know that, the immediate thought is, well, that's physical abuse, but the emotional scars run deeper. And even though he's standing there taking it all, every man on the planet, that's worth their salt and intellect and opinion and integrity is all saying the same thing. We can't all be seeing this incorrectly.
Well, if I can jump in there, I think a more accurate comparison might be that we've seen lately might be Kim and Kanye. Obviously we don't ever want to compare domestic violence, but I definitely think that many people feel like Kim should have stuck with Kanye through all of his mental breakdowns, through all of his degradation of her and her family. There are many people that feel like she should have stuck it out. It would have been better for the children. It would have been better for the family. And then even seeing Kanye kind of do the 180, it may have been better for her. So I don't think there's a double standard there. If you compare two celebrity couples, one with a woman going through it, Kim did ditch him. And people don't agree with it. People are saying she'll never find another man.
But I don't think that's a proper comparison. It's not a proper comparison.
It's a person that's degrading their family publicly. Nobody beating each other or bludgeoning them to death.
But I'm saying
two couples that are degrading their family publicly.
But it's not this. It's not the same. I was careful in my choice because I wanted to kind of weigh the equals. The fact that women being domestic violence on men against women is equal to that emotional violence, that's what I'm going to call it, of being publicly emasculated.
Well,
it's the same.
Will never agree with you on that.
Because to my point, and I made this all the time, because when men say it hurts, and I'm being metaphorical here, nobody listens or cares.
Okay,
nobody listens or cares.
Women don't experience emotional violence.
I'm not saying
emotional violence.
And I don't think I disagree. I disagree with you.
I'm trying to illustrate a point. A man putting his hands on a woman because he's so much bigger and stronger, right? It's horrific.
Right.
It's deplorable. A man being emasculated publicly is the same thing in reverse. It has the same effect. Being emasculated publicly for a man. That's why a man. That's why men love.
That's why respect is
respect.
Respect is huge.
Number one.
Yeah.
If you're gonna wear my last name, let me say this. The one conversation that we have all the time as we're learning each other is that, listen, we're gonna have problems, but the one thing I will not stand for is being embarrassed in public or emasculated in public. That is a no and a non-starter, because it is big to us. And so that's why I tried to illustrate it by using the physical violence against a woman, because I need you to understand, as a man, right? That's how we feel.
And what happens if your wife emasculates you? That's the no for you. That's a deal breaker for you. So your wife,
it's gonna hurt.
Wait.
It's gonna hurt, and we're gonna have to deal with it.
Okay, it's gonna hurt, but you're gonna deal with it. So,
but if she continues to do it, we're gonna have a problem.
And what is that problem going to be?
And what you consider emasculation? What you consider emasculation?
Listen. I'm not going to stay in a marriage.
Listen to Penny. Okay, Penny.
I don't believe in divorce, but I'm not going to stay in a marriage that I'm being constantly publicly emasculated.
Okay, you know your wife, because before you talked
about Penny.
I'm going to ask you a quick question, because you talked about knowing your wife very well for like 3 years or something like that, and then you guys tied the knot. And so you're secure, and I think you were singing your wife's praises about how much of a great woman she was and how she knew the things that would trigger you and all of this. So your wife then, maybe 5 years from now, is going through some changes where she is emasculating you. Okay, this is not even the same woman that you remember. For some reason, she just has started to pop off and emasculate you. That's your deal breaker for your whole wife that you love right now.
Here's the thing that you're missing, right? Because we need to take the totality of circumstance, right?
Okay.
Number one, as we go back to Will and Jada, you say it hasn't. I'm not saying it destroyed the spirit.
I don't want to go back to Will and Jada. I want to go back to you personally because I want to know what you would do.
I'm going to tell you what I would do. Let's say she's emasculated me in front of family, right? Then it went public, right? And then we're at my employer's having this big employee function in which I'm about to receive this lifetime achievement award. And at that moment, because of the abuse that I receive, my bag is affected, and my life and my livelihood is affected by that. I need to start saying, you know what? It may be a time to abandon ship for my own personal health and my own personal safety.
And this is what Mel is talking about.
If she's poking holes in the ship, because I'm going to quote scripture here. I'm going to quote scripture because I'm a Christian, right? Now, true. There's only one thing that is supposed to that you get you out of marriage, and that is that's cheating, which she's done, which Jada has done.
Adultery.
No, we're not talking about Jada. We're talking about you because you just said that you're a Christian, but you would go ahead and leave your wife for emasculation.
Because at some point, it becomes so detrimental. It becomes. Listen,
you know what?
You got to throw in the adultery.
I'm pressing you.
All right, so look, hold on.
You got to be total about this.
Look. This topic is truly hot. There's a statement from Shakespeare. I think that it is really relevant in the theme of this discussion. And she states, there is a statement in a text that states, in the last days, people will become lovers of themselves, i.e. narcissistic, a concept that must occur because right now, many hate themselves, not selfishness, but self-love. I'm not sure if I'm reading that in the correct framework, but and then let me add Shade Tree in here, who says, if my wife emasculates me, then she is expressing her inability to the bare minimum required in a marriage, respect. If she can't show that to me, then there's nothing there for me to stay for. And so from a statistical perspective, what Penny's saying and what Shade Tree's saying plays out in the numbers. We sometimes tend to, in error on the podcast, break it down to what would you do or what would I do. We may be the total unique, what am I trying to say?
Exception to the rule.
Thank you. Exception to the rule. We all four of us may be the exception to the rules and all things, but that's not what this is about. This is about what's going on the collective level. And on the collective level, and I'll say for me, I'm definitely not an exception to the rule because respect is big for me. But it is a valid question what you asked, Desi, because when you're in a committed marriage, there's often things we say we won't take, but we end up taking.
I mean, if you're in a committed marriage for long enough, you are going to things are going to happen that you do not want to happen that are going to happen, which relates to the comment that I said about the woman saying that people are going to change. Yeah, people change. Sometimes they change back. Sometimes they change better.
That's true.
But you never get to experience that because your values get so convoluted. With your own ego, will saying, "Well, that person emasculated me too many times for me." That right there is, I won't say what I was going to say, but that's a problem,
But that's why I use the physical violence example, because again, nobody knows. People don't know what men go through or how we feel because nobody listens. They minimize it, right? They minimize how we feel.
Let me just say this because I hear the music like we're.
Yeah, we can retune it out.
I just so disagree with you, and I hear that music coming. And I just want to get this in here. I hear what you're saying, Penny, but listen, that's not the case. Men are, if you're feeling emasculated, you need to speak up and say that. If you're feeling emasculated, if you're feeling disrespected, say that.
Say it again, Penny. What you
That's
saying?
why Will is
Okay.
upset, because he ain't speaking up. That's my point.
He may not
So-
feel immaculate.
Maybe he's not
That's
feeling
the
that
point.
though. That's what I'm saying. He may not feel that.
He may not
But-
care what the internet.
Hey, Tina,
Listen,
look,
that's-
Tina
you're
Turner
making my
took a
point.
whole lot. Tina Turner
You're making
took
my point.
Tina Turner
I
took
know.
a lot, a whole lot. She took a lot of Ike's hands. She took a lot of Ike's hands for a long duration in their relationship. At some
Ladies.
point, she said, "I'm done with it."
But ladies, I want to
So-
say this, and I need y'all to understand it. The fact that he has no backbone makes him a simp.
Okay, on that note,
On that
note,
For
you
the
have to
whole
pity.
fan
On that
was
note,
been
we're gonna-
interacting with Will Smith, that you would take this one moment in time and quickly label him as a man.
It ain't this
That-
one moment in
that's what
time.
he's
It's
saying.
this.
we're gonna
I could do a whole podcast on that.
we're gonna carry that over to the next
Yeah.
show. What I want to do is I want to do a round robin on this last piece, because this discussion is making me think of all of the great, wholesome, nourishing, emotionally enriching reality TV shows such as Basketball Wives of Atlanta, Doctor's Wives
Did you
of
say nourishing?
Nourishing, yes, emotionally enriching.
Yeah,
So
married
what I-
medicine. Mm.
yeah. So yes. So what I want everybody to do, and we're going to end with Penny, starting with I started with Cruz the first time, so I'm going to start with Desi, then Cruz, and then Penny. I want you to pick your favorite reality TV show that is wholesome and enriching to relationships, starting with Desi.
Oh my goodness! I mean that I don't really watch reality TV anymore, but you know I'm gonna have to say like the little people or something like that.
The who?
The little
The
people,
little people.
the two little people that have the adopted kids. That's the most wholesome one I know. I would say the Duggars, but they have that issue going on. So yeah.
Okay. The little people.
TLC.
And what is that is the politically correct way to refer?
Yeah, that's the name of the show.
Yeah, the little people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cruz, the most wholesome, nourishing,
Yeah, that's a trick
relationship
question.
enriching reality TV show on social media or TV or
Wow.
both.
Okay, that's a very trick question, and I don't have enough time to figure out one. I quit watching the reality TV shows because they aren't wholesome, they aren't nourishing, they're not helpful for positive relationship. So, no comment.
Okay. All right. Lamar Penny Finley.
There isn't one on TV I could think of, and there is a black couple. I catch a lot of their clips, and I watch a lot of their clips. I can't think of their names, but they're on YouTube. They actually, the two of them, discuss these type of conversations, from a male and man and woman perspective, and it's and I love it because they get heated in the conversations, but they're honest, they're raw, but they use that as opportunities, and they say this is what this, their words, not mine, as opportunities to kind of really, really learn each other. And they said through their podcasting, they've actually gotten close. I'm talking about the older couples. There's a younger couple too that's kind of falling apart a little bit, but this older couple, they've been married a long time, and this has drawn them closer. I'll get the name. I'll get the name and bring it up in the future show because it's a really good show. But they're on YouTube, an older couple, and that's probably the closest to reality show on TV or internet that I can think of. That's kind of wholesome, I guess, if you want to call it wholesome.
All right. Shakespeare, hashtag she Shakespeare says you moved away from the topic. Well, I would like to respectfully challenge you on that. The reason I ended with this little round robin is because I think just the answers here to that question affirm Sadia Khan's original assertion that social media in general trains people for divorce. It turns women into narcissists. It's opened up a platform globally for them to leverage their commodity, which is their physical beauty, for whatever their motivations are. And men do not have that access or that ability to use social media in that same fashion. And on the next show, I want to discuss it. This is what Sadaya says. I would like to discuss why men can't use social media in the same way, leveraging their physicality as a commodity, their male beauty as a commodity, as women.
Well,
So
I
that,
think men definitely leverage their success.
well,
That's why they have, like,
but that's not.
They
That's,
doing it. They doing the body too.
but that's not. That's
Put
not.
that body up there too.
That's not the question. But it's not quite the same, especially by what Sadaya Khan is saying. So just to get back to Shakespeare, that's the reason I think there's a tie. And let me know if you see the connection there. That these reality TV shows I asked you all to name, these are open displays of mental health issues. You know, the things that's going on, the way that people are opening up.
Yeah.
You know, this is a reflection of
dysfunctional relationships.
Mental health disorders complete, and it's impact, and they're bringing their children into these shows. So they're teaching their children it's all about me. They're raising them as little mini narcissists as well. But I could start preaching. I don't want to. We can go. This is a great topic. Producer did an excellent job in doing this one. We're going to have to do number 2. Cruz, you lit it up. You lit it up.
Yes.
Your first time on the show.
Well, I told you I'm nice with it.
You nice with it. You lit it up.
I'm nice with it.
Desi, this little chemistry between you and Cruz, we're gonna break that. We're gonna break that ish up. We're gonna break that.
You spitting tea though, Desi. You spitting tea, Desi.
We're gonna break that up. We can't have that. We can't have no emasculation going on in this show. Penny.
No. Y'all gotta speak up, men.
My brother. Hey, right here. This was the move.
Look here.
Super simple.
Capital S.
Yeah.
You know.
Good stuff. Shade Tree. Thank you, brother. As always, we are working on getting you on the show, my man. She Shakespeare. Love
That's
your
dope hashtag.
Yes, it is. Love your contribution. Provision House as well. Keep looking for us. Hey, don't let this discussion stop. Get on the comments on YouTube, you guys, and let's rock it from there, because this is really good, and we're going to come back and do a part 2 on this. So anyway, thanks to the panelists, and thanks to the watchers, viewers, and listeners. Have a great week, and until the next time we meet, we'll see you in the Black Space.